Hello everybody, this is Black Murai with the fourth video and probably last video in my series of videos about how I play destroyers in the current live test of the Submarine battle mode.
Battle starts.
If you're curious about the full rationale behind why I play destroyers this way, I suggest you watch the first video in the series. There should be a link to that video on your screen right now. In this video, I am sailing the German destroyer, the Ernst Gaede, and this is going to be another pretty good example of how I play very cautiously at the start of the battle and through a good chunk of the battle, and maybe don't really do a whole lot to help my team early in the game and through the middle part of the game. But how I am then around at what I think is sort of the most important part of the game in these sub-battles, which is sort of the late part of the middle game to the ending part of the game, where submarines can really start to dominate the game if you don't have destroyers around to counter them. And so here we go at the start of the game. You can see that I have moved up, but I've not gone aggressively forward, and I'm in a position where I can use this island if I need to in order to avoid getting hammered. And mostly here early in the game, I'm just going to look for opportunities to use my guns to help my teammates as much as I can without really exposing my ship to a lot of return fire. You know, in these sub games, a lot of times the subs actually can do a better job of spotting than destroyers do, so I don't feel a really strong need to have to go go forward and spot in the destroyers. I also think it's dangerous for destroyers to go forward for that same reason, because the subs can outspot you now, and if they get close enough they can even spot you when you're in their smoke. So going forward is just giving the other team the opportunity to focus fire on you.
Reporting a target position.
Because as you can see, the middle part of this map is getting heavily engaged. Destroyers are going forward, some subs are moving forward. But I have stayed off to the side. I'm going to use my guns a little, but generally just try to help a bit, but without endangering my ship too much. And I feel like this has been happening a lot more in the submarine battles as well, which is the middle parts of the map. I feel like get a little bit more engaged, and people, there's more that goes on there, and a little less flanking happening. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if it's because the submarines are able to go straight up the middle and get very close and attack.
Problem solved, sir.
And don't need to rely as heavily on other forms of cover, so they're not having to seek out islands, and they can just go right up the middle. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's partly this. You can see this destroyer from the other team has really just come charging in. I think his intent was to just get one of our subs, and he's essentially trading his ship for a sub. And I don't know if it's just this test mode, because people are still, they're wanting to test out the different facets of the sub combat. And so maybe he doesn't really care about winning the battle. He just wanted to go forward and try to sink a sub. I don't know. You know, this is a very aggressive play. He got our sub, but he's also giving up his ship. As you'll see here, he's gone. Maybe that was a good trade. I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't have done it. I think if that was our last sub, trading his destroyer to knock it out might have been a good play. But this early in the game, I don't think that was a good trade. I think you shouldn't try. You know, I'm more of the mind that you need to keep your destroyer alive until a little later in the game. As you can see, my team has fallen quite a bit behind here in total ship count.
Engine boost activated.
We've lost the sub, but we haven't lost any destroyers. They're down one destroyer. And the bulk of their team is pushing right up through the middle of the map. I suspect at this point they think they've got a pretty good lead. They're pushing their way to a win, but as you can see here,
Torpedoes to starboard.
this destroyer is way out in front again. Very aggressive position.
Problem solved, sir.
Do start to even up the ship count, and they start to take out the rest of their destroyers. Some kind of risky torps for my teammate. It's a good thing I was paying attention. I don't know, maybe they were keeping up to go past them. They got away, not sure. But
Smoke generator started.
so I think that was a little risky on the part of my teammate to launch those torps past me. Fortunately, I was paying attention.
Smoke screen set.
We'll get to see some more of my horrible marksmanship. Yes, I am not the greatest player. I do not claim to have the best skills. I just love playing this game. And here's an example of how my marksmanship can thoroughly suck. But, you know, I play, I have fun. And as we'll see later,
Torpedoes to
I'm
start.
still able to find ways to help my team in the end.
Engine boost deactivated.
This would be an example where the enemy destroyer, I don't know if he forgets or if he just makes a mistake or what, but he actually gets, I believe he gets torpedoed from the rear tube to our sub. And, you know, I think that's something you always have to be careful of. I've noticed a lot of sub commanders have sort of adopted that technique where they try to get right under your destroyer, and then when you're past them, they use their rear tubes to try to take you out. So our sub managed to do that there. And you can see how we've evened up the ship count numbers. We're ahead on destroyers. And my team has done a great job of turning that back. You know, I really didn't do a whole lot there. I helped add a little bit of damage to some of the destroyers that came up, but really my teammates did that. And now we're starting to get into that part of the game where I think it's really important to have destroyers, human-controlled destroyers, especially. I mean, in the sub battles, a lot of the destroyers are bots, but it's important to have a human-controlled destroyer around this part of the game. And I think we're going to get a pretty good example of why coming up here. One of their submarines starts to push into our base cap, and we have two surface ships back there, but neither of them has anti-sub capability. And this is why the destroyers are important, because, you know, once the destroyers are gone, submarines are almost invulnerable. you know, there's sub versus sub. They can take each other out, but that is dicey at best. The way it seems to me like that's a pretty 50-50 situation to rely on that. And it can also be very slow. You know, subs, it's like dogfighting, dueling under the sea there, and it can sometimes take a while for somebody to score the hit that
Engine
gets the
boost
kill.
activated.
And I think, you know, relying on that as a means of dealing with the enemy subs is just a very iffy proposition at best. So, you know, right here, the sub getting into our base cap could very well have sunk both of these ships back here. You know, we do have a sub coming back to try to help deal with him, but if their sub, you know, he doesn't really have to worry about the two surface ships. So he could sink them and duel our sub, potentially sink all three of these ships if he's good or lucky. And then, you know, our cap is exposed. And so having a destroyer around to come and help deal with this guy, this is exactly why I try so hard to keep my destroyers alive until this portion of the game. A lot of the surface ships are gone, and now I can hunt the subs without too much risk and start to really either tip the balance of the battle in our favor or kind of help to sort of seal it. You know, we might win this battle anyways, but me being around here to take this sub out, and as you'll see later, I will also finish off another sub. Those two things sort of really can seal the deal. Anytime you have subs running around on the other team with no destroyers to counter them, it doesn't matter what the ship count is. You know, I think you're still at risk of having those subs turn the battle around because they are so difficult for like a battleship to deal with. It's nearly impossible. The sub has to really make a mistake
Engine boost
in order
deactivated.
for a battleship to sink a sub at this point in the game. You know, with nothing to force the sub to the surface or whatever, there's very little the battleship can do except try to dodge the torps. So you can see I helped eliminate that threat to our cap. They still have two other subs left, and my teammate is going to take one of them out shortly here. And this battle is actually a little unusual in that my team actually has two destroyers still sailing around at this point in the game. That really essentially nullifies the effectiveness of their submarines. Meanwhile, our submarines largely have free reign to do whatever they want, and as you will see, you know, that sub up there takes out the battleship, or is able to attack that battleship with very little fear. So one more sub to go, but as we're going to see, my teammate, I'm not sure exactly what happens here. I don't know if he just gets himself lined up too straight, attacking this last sub. You have to be careful about going at a sub straight on from the front or straight on from the back, especially when the sub is close to the surface. And I think that's what happens here. My teammate gets himself torpedoed because that sub has come to the surface and he's gone a little too straight at him and he gets torpedoed. You have to try to attack them from a little bit of an angle. Make it hard for them to use their torpedoes on you when they're near the surface. So anyways, this has been Black Mirai. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've watched the whole series, I hope you've enjoyed the whole series here. I know it probably sounded a little bit like a broken record at times, but I hope you enjoyed the videos I posted about how I've been playing destroyers in these sub-battles and some of the examples that that provides. And maybe I'll see you in game, and be cool.